Let's start with a quiet feeling, something you probably already know. It's that slow, creeping realization that today feels almost exactly like yesterday, and yesterday felt just like the day before. It's not some loud, dramatic crisis, it's just a quiet hum of repetition. You've probably asked yourself this, right? Maybe when you're driving or standing in the shower. You have goals, you have ambitions, things you genuinely want to change. But when you really look at your life, it feels like you're stuck in a loop. The alarm goes off. What's the first move? The phone is in your hand before your feet even hit the floor. It's the same coffee, the same route to work, the same feeling of exhaustion at the end of the day. You want a different result, but you keep running the same program over and over and over. Look, this isn't a failure of desire. It's a failure to understand the system that's running your life in the background. And that right there is the uncomfortable truth we have to start with. Your life, right now, is not a reflection of what you hope for. It's a lagging measure of your habits. Think about that. Your current reality, your health, your bank account, your career, it's all just the delayed result of the tiny actions you've been repeating for months, maybe even years. It's the sum total of all the things you do without even thinking about it. Okay, so let's dive into the why. To understand why we get so stuck, we have to look at the machine running the whole show, your brain. And more specifically, we need to look at the hidden code it uses to automate pretty much everything you do. Let's be really clear about this. A habit is not a moral failing. It's not a sign that you're lazy. It's a feature of your brain's operating system. As Bob Proctor put it, it's an idea that gets fixed in your subconscious, and then you act on it automatically. Your brain does this to be efficient. It has to save energy. So it takes anything you repeat and turns it into code, so it doesn't have to waste precious mental energy thinking about it anymore. And every single one of these automatic behaviors runs on a simple, four-step neurological loop. First, there's a cue, a trigger. It could be the feeling of stress or just the ding from your phone. Second, that trigger creates a craving, the desire to feel better or that nagging urge to see who messaged you. Third, the response. You eat the junk food, you grab the phone. And fourth, the reward, a hit of sugar, a little burst of social connection. Cue, craving, response, reward. This little loop, as researchers like James Clear and Judson Brewer have shown, is the engine behind every single habit you have, good or bad. Now imagine dozens of these habit loops all running at the same time. They start to bundle together to form something way more powerful. Bob Proctor calls this a paradigm. It's the collection of all your habits that creates your default operating system. So it's not just one habit, like reaching for your phone. It's the entire invisible script, how you talk to yourself, how you react to problems, how you manage your time, that dictates up to 95% of your behavior without you even realizing it. It's the reason you can have a conscious goal to save money, but your paradigm will automatically steer you towards spending it. And this quote just nails the problem perfectly. We all think our ambition and our willpower are going to carry us to success. But when life gets hard, when you're stressed, when you're tired, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall back to your automated systems. You fall back to your habits. Your current habits are perfectly, and I mean perfectly, designed to deliver the results you're currently getting. So let's see what this actually looks like in practice. Imagine two people. They're starting at the exact same point in their lives. The only difference between them is the small, seemingly meaningless choices they make every single day, their habits. Okay, so the person on the undisciplined path, they hit the snooze button. They spend the first 20 minutes of their day scrolling on their phone, feeling that mix of anxiety and jealousy. They put off the important work because, well, it feels hard. They choose comfort. Now, the person on the disciplined path starts small. Maybe they just get up on the first alarm. They control the first few minutes of their day. They do the hard thing first. And even on the days they don't feel like it, they stick to the plan. Now, the difference between these two paths isn't some huge, dramatic thing. It's not about a sudden burst of motivation. No, it's about a commitment to getting just 1% better each day. A tiny, almost invisible edge. It's so easy to dismiss it because, honestly, it doesn't feel like much in the moment. But this is where the magic and the danger of habits really lies. Because that 1% difference, it compounds. For the first few months, you can barely tell the two paths apart. The results look almost the same. But time has a way of magnifying whatever you feed it. And after a few years, that small gap is no longer a gap, it's a chasm. You have two completely different destinies, two totally different lives, all born from the exact same starting point.
And here's the critical part of this story. The person on that first path doesn't wake up one day and decide, I want to have a mediocre life. No, it happens slowly, automatically, one undisciplined habit at a time. until they arrive at a future they never would have consciously chosen. The turning point, if it ever comes, is this painful realization. I'm not stuck because of my job, or my city, or my bad luck. I'm stuck because of my programming.
And this is where it gets personal, because this isn't just some story about two imaginary people. Let's turn the focus on you. Let's talk about the patterns that you are running right now, today. You want to be fit, but you keep skipping the gym. You want to be focused, but you lose hours to your phone. You want to be present with your family, but that screen is always in your hand. You see the gap, right? There's a gap between the person you want to be and the person your habits are actually turning you into.
So let's reframe the entire problem. The issue isn't that you lack motivation. You already want the better outcome. The real issue is a lack of control at the most basic level, the small repeated actions that make up your day. You're not stuck. You're just unconsciously repeating the same behaviors over and over.
And let's be totally honest with ourselves for a minute. You already have a pretty good idea of which habits are holding you back. You know the procrastination is hurting you. You know the endless scrolling isn't getting you anywhere. The knowledge is there. So the real question, the one we have to confront, is why doesn't that knowledge lead to action?
Okay, this is where we stop just talking about the problem and we start taking control of the system. Change isn't about one giant heroic leap of willpower. It's about systematically re-engineering the code that runs your life.
So here's the system. It's simple, but it's not easy. Step 1, identify. You have to become ruthlessly aware of your loops. Get curious. What's the real trigger? What's the craving underneath it all? Step 2, replace. You can't just delete a bad habit because it leaves a vacuum. You have to fill that void with a better action that gives you a similar reward. Step 3, build small. Start with an action so easy you can't possibly say no. Step 4, create a routine. Your brain loves predictability, so give it a schedule to follow. And finally, step 5, stay consistent. On your bad days, you don't quit, you just scale it down. But you never, ever break the chain.
James Clear calls this the 2-minute rule, and it is brilliant. You know, the heaviest weight at the gym is just opening the front door. The biggest hurdle to writing is that blank page. So you make the start ridiculously easy. Read 30 books this year becomes read 1 page tonight. Do yoga 4 days a week becomes take out my yoga mat. A habit has to become a standard part of your life before you can even think about improving it. So first, you just master the art of showing up.
And then you support this system by designing your world for success. Prime your environment. If you want to go running in the morning, put your running shoes right by the door. Eliminate friction. If you want to eat healthier, get the junk food out of the house. And this is crucial. You have to reframe discipline. It's not punishment. It's an act of self-love. It's you telling your future self, hey, I care about you too much to let my present self make this easy, comfortable choice right now.
I want you to think of it like this. Your habits are the programming language of your life. Every single day, your brain runs this code, and the output is the life you are currently living. You can wish for a different output all day long, but if the underlying code doesn't change, the output will never, ever change. And this is the final, most crucial takeaway. Discipline isn't some magical quality that you're either born with or you're not. It's not about grand, heroic acts of willpower. Discipline is the practical, day-to-day skill of consciously choosing and controlling your habits. It's about winning those small, 5-minute battles.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Forget your grand ambitions for just a moment. Let's get real. What is the one habit right now that is quietly running your life? You know what it is. Be honest with yourself. Because just seeing it for what it truly is, that's the first step in taking back control.